Can wearing masks stop the spread of viruses? Hi friend, welcome to M&E Made Simple, and I am your host, Coach Alexander. As you may be well aware, there has been an outbreak of a deadly flu in China. And I'm right here on the page. This is BBC Reports, BBC News. So according to BBC report on 21st January 2020, nearly 300 people have been infected, and it gets worse. 6 people have died from the virus, and 15 medical personnel are reported to have been infected. So workers, well, these are health workers we're talking about, right? Because if you look at here, what it's saying, it's saying that the commission said at least 15 medical workers in Wuhan have also been infected with the virus, with one in critical condition. It is deadly virus indeed, looking at things, and the World Health Organization has become involved trying to solve what is happening there as usual. So you might be aware that China, interestingly, is not new to these kind of flus. Actually, history, if you go down history lane, you're going to find that China has had these kind of flus before, these influenzas. I won't even go further into explaining the different kind of flus they've had, but they've all had different names, of course. But today I want us to discuss this topic. Can wearing masks actually stop the spread of these viruses? And can it really work? So what do you really think? Because I've seen this a lot. People wear masks, and these are surgical masks. If you look at this, these are surgical masks. You go, doctors, surgeons, they'll use these masks when operating. But does it really make a difference? I've always asked myself this question. Well, I am no medical expert, which is pretty obvious. I mean, you know who I am. But when I first heard the word influenza, I didn't really know the meaning. In this article published yesterday entitled, "Can Wearing Masks Stop the Spread of Viruses?" it says, let's read here just for a bit. It says here, one of the abiding images of any virus outbreak is people in surgical masks. Using them to prevent infection is popular in many countries around the world, most notably China during the current coronavirus outbreak, where they are also worn to protect against high pollution levels. Virologists are skeptical about their effectiveness against airborne viruses, but there is some evidence to suggest the mask can help prevent hand-to-mouth transmissions. So when you read further, you tend to see that actually surgical masks, if you read through this, it actually mentions that these kind of masks are really not a guaranteed method of preventing flu. Because if you read this line, it says somewhere here, let me just look for it. There's a certain, this part, it says, but they could help lower the risk of contracting a virus through the splash from a sneeze or a cough, and provide some protection against hand-to-mouth transmissions. Okay. Also, reading further down, well, let's see. There's something else I saw interesting. It says the NHS says the best way to avoid catching viruses such as flu is to regularly wash your hands with warm water and soap, avoid touching your eyes and nose wherever possible, maintain a fit and healthy lifestyle. And then when you go further, it says Dr. Jake Dunning, This is what he says. Although there is perception that the wearing of Facebook's face masks may be beneficial, there is in fact very little evidence of widespread benefit and blah 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 blah. I'm sure we get the point. So now, guys, let me tell you this straight. I always knew, even before reading this, that wearing surgical masks wasn't the complete solution. It wasn't the full package. I say this because think of it this way: masks just prevents you from small splashes of water or liquid. And even vice versa, it prevents you, like if you have a sneeze and you wear a surgical mask, whatever comes out of you won't harm anyone else. Okay? But it doesn't necessarily prevent you from breathing in air. Because I mean, look here, those spaces, air is coming in. How is this lady breathing? It's through those spaces. So when they say airborne disease, the air we breathe is all around us. Even the people wearing these masks are breathing some of that air. Okay, so now the thing is that unless I've gotten the whole definition of airborne disease totally wrong, I don't know. But if we're talking of airborne disease, it means that this disease can be passed airborne. So I mean, really, there's nothing much to talk about here. I mean, these masks certainly can't prevent airborne diseases. However, I still don't know why these flus become so deadly to the point of killing people. It's always because when I get sick of flu, it can be really bad sometimes, but I have never pictured myself being admitted in hospital because of flu. I have to admit that. And but again, where do these deadly flus even come from? It's hard to understand. Actually, come from where? Where do they come from? And why are they so deadly in China? Okay, of course, one can argue it's not only in China, but I remember when I was young and I first had influenza, it happened in China. So all this is hard to understand. And coming from a layman, like I earlier told you, I'm not a medical expert, and I don't want to spend time reading, researching about all these medical terms. I need an expert to explain it to me. But coming from a layman, this is how my understanding is. So I want to know your thoughts on all this. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so, and put your comments in the comments section below. Until we meet again, see you on the other side.